Hey guys, it's your pal Victor here, and I'm here with a review of the new Lisa Joy movie. Lisa Joy is the co-creator of Westworld, called Reminiscence, starring Hugh Jackman, Rebecca Ferguson, and here's our review.
Bribery, murder.
Maybe memory fades for a reason.
I'm begging you, don't go down this path.
People don't see what's right in front of them.
So we just saw Reminiscence, which stars Hugh Jackman, Rebecca Ferguson, Cliff Booth, and Thandiwe Newton. Is directed by Lisa Joy, who is the showrunner and writer of Westworld on HBO, which is one of my favorite shows. So I was excited to see this. So I have thoughts. Okay, so basically the gist of this movie follows Hugh Jackman's character Nick, who owns a company basically that lets you, if you put on this headset, relive your memories in this like interactive tank called Reminiscence. You can also take your memories home and watch them like 2D or experience them that way. But most people opt for the Reminiscence because you can feel it as if it's happening around you. And Nick's partner in this, her name is Watts. She's played by Thandiwe Newton. She's like a badass. There's a lot of regulars from Westworld here. If you recognize the actors that play all the androids, a lot of them are in this movie. So they're working, and then one day, this character named May, who's played by Rebecca Ferguson, shows up and she needs help finding her keys. It turns out she's a lounge singer, and Nick kind of falls for her. And as we follow this relationship, we find out what twist the whole thing was a memory he's been reliving because she's left him all out of the blue, and he's become a memory junkie, and he's convinced he has to go save her. And along the way, there are, dark circumstances that come around to kind of stop him. There are crooked cops. There is a guy who we think might have been behind it, but it turns out he's just high on his own supply. And a lot of this turns out to be sort of a film noirish heist to kind of get at Nick and something he has. And if this sounds really familiar, it's because it's the exact same plot as the 1995 Catherine Bigelow movie Strange Days. And it's really crazy to me. I'm watching this movie, I'm like, beat for beat, it's like the exact same movie, even down to the film noir influence in the movie. And it was sort of like, okay, is this movie really playing on these film noir tropes? Or is this really kind of just like the exact same movie? And it's not the exact same movie. To be fair, this is a really well done movie. Hugh Jackman carries this movie on his shoulders. His performance is amazing. The chemistry between him and Rebecca Ferguson is off the charts, and they are great in this movie. Thandiwe Newton is awesome in this movie. Cliff Curtis's Booth is awesome in this movie, the crooked cop. But dude, it's like basically near future, it's like Strange Days with like a subplot that's heavy shades of the 1974 Roman Polanski movie Chinatown. That movie has to do with water rights and keeping that from people. This is in the future, so it's about land rights in a sinking Miami. And I think if you go in not knowing that, it's probably not going to bug you, and you're going to think it's basically some kind of like love story, Inception kind of thing. But if you've seen Chinatown or Strange Days, you're going to be like, dude, this movie is way too similar to those two movies. I don't want to indict, Lisa Joy, because she's an awesome writer, but it's one of those things that, a lot of people have the same kind of ideas, but this is expressed so similarly to this cult classic that a lot of people probably haven't seen, that it's going to go right over their heads. But if you like Strange Days, you're going to be like, dude, this is the same movie. But I will say, like I said, Hugh Jackman is awesome in this. He brings his own flavor to this whole proceeding. And Rebecca Ferguson is great as this kind of like, noirish femme fatale. It's almost like Eva Green was meant to be like a femme fatale in like the Bond movies and like Sin City Part 2. Rebecca Ferguson was like made for this role. And Cliff Booth is great in this movie. I question the accent he puts on, but yeah, other than that, he's really good. The set pieces in this movie are good. The production design, especially doing this kind of global warming kind of meets future thing going on, is really cool. And like I said, there's lots of movies that take the same premise to certain degrees. I mean, you could look at this movie, like I said, if you haven't seen Strangers or Chinatown, you're probably going to think it's Inception meets Minority Report. That works too, kind of, because there's shades of all that stuff, especially with how wet everything is. But, in a lot of ways, like I said, it's a really good movie. It's going to remind you of other movies. That's the bane of science fiction. And props to them for doing kind of a hard R, like, science fiction movie. It's really good. I dig it. I think it's worth watching on streaming for sure. But yeah. I'm going to support my boy Hugh Jackman no matter what. He's great in this. And that's my thoughts on Reminiscence. It's fun. It's got some great ideas. But it's reminiscent of movies in this genre by a mile. So that's my recommendation. Give it a 3.5 out of 5. And that's it. For more reviews, check out Cult Classics. And we'll talk to you later.